This is The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. This was originally released in Japanese for the 3DS in two increments. The first one was released July 9th of 2015, and the second one was released August 3rd of 2017. Later, it was ported for PC and for sale on Steam. I think when I bought it, it was $40 as one whole package. And along with that was an English translation because it was developed by Capcom, which is a Japanese company, and the original releases were in Japanese. And that was released last year, July 27th of 2021. This is being recorded on February 8th of 2022 and will likely be posted or made public sometime around July of 2022. My estimate, not exactly sure when. This is my guess right now. The way this is going to be released, I plan to, as of several months before it will be released, is it will be interlaced with Never 7, The Out of Infinity, which, although you may not really realize it from the first episode of my Let's Play of that, which will probably already it's probably going to be released yesterday, the day before this is released. That game is actually, if you stick with it, that game is actually really good. In fact, I encourage you more to try to play the game as opposed to watch me play it. Doing so is a little complicated, but just kind of telling you that because the beginning of it, and especially the beginning of my Let's Play, doesn't really hook you in very well. You might not get the best impression of it from the start of it and my start of my Let's Play of it. You might not realize how good it is. Cool. So this is being pre-recorded mainly because it's a mystery game, and mystery games I like to pre-record because otherwise they'll get spoiled in the comments. Because I think the story is complete. Not sure exactly because I want to stay free from spoilers, so I'm not exactly sure that the story is complete with just these two games combined together to make this one game. However, I'm guessing it is. So likely you will not be able to spoil me nor spoil me for a sequel. However, people that watch this video and then scroll down into the comments afterwards and read the comments about it, if there's a spoiler there, they might be upset with you. But I don't have any mods or any policing or anything, so they'll comment if you make one. We'll just stay up. So, next, let's see. Oh yeah, DMCA. As soon as I record this one, I'm going to upload it and see what copyright things happen. Because I'm going to play it, at least I couldn't figure out, at least at first brush, whether or not the background music is copyrighted, is materially gets copyright claimed. I'll find out on, also don't know about voice acting as well. I'll find that out though with the first episode, which might make the first episode a little bit wonky. There might be some weird editing going on with it because of that. And then that will be, I'll deal with it, however, I'll deal with it on the second one. Or the third one. The first two might be a little wonky. And at least on the third one, I'll figure out how to deal with that. I know that there were strikes given for fan translations of this game at one point, because somebody said that on their blog, but I don't think that applies to the official translation. These are copyright strikes given out by Capcom because Capcom decided to be mean about it, essentially. That's all that really matters. Okay. Cool. I'm going to start playing. I would like to mention that I've seen other Let's Players play other Ace Attorney games. And I'm a big fan of this series and this concept. So that's why I decided to play this. As far as me being spoiled, as far as gameplay footage, I've only seen the first few seconds of the first game. And by that I mean, like, I've seen what the judge's beard looks like and that's it. And browsing, like, for some reason on Reddit, I don't know why I was on Reddit and what I was looking up, I stumbled across somebody's comment that about something not specific but sort of general about the ending of the first of the two games. And I think the person who said it didn't realize that people would consider it a spoiler. I personally do. I'm not going to say what that is unless it becomes relevant into describing my thoughts as to what's going on in the game at the time. So I will kind of hold off on saying what that spoiler was. At least I consider a spoiler, some people may not, until it becomes relevant. But it's not anything specific about the plot. It's something very general about it. As far as the second game, I know zero, which is its ideal. So I guess the second game you can call it, the term for it is blind. The second game will be a blind Let's Play. Okay, cool. I haven't actually gone into this game before, so, I don't actually know if everything, yep, subtitles should stay on. Is there a way to up this? That'll probably look better. Well, the problem is that the way the user interface is it's windowed. So if I turn it to 1080p, it's going to make it a little bit, it's going to cause not all of it to be on my screen at once. So I'm going to have to, and it probably made the recording look really funny, didn't it? So yeah, it made it so only the upper left corner is visible. So I'm going to return it back, but there's going to be some blurriness because it will have to upsample in the recording. Unfortunately. It's like if I do it 1080p, because my monitor is 1080p, it'll be bigger than the monitor because it's windowed. It'll have like the taskbar and things. You know what? I can't actually up it to this level. I'll do that. Okay. And then excuse my crudeness here. Just let my recording set up as I make this fit. This is gonna look awkward, but okay. I apologize. Cool. And then here we go. Oh. There's a scroll here. Oh, we have different courtrooms. Okay. Or both games, perhaps.
The Empire of Japan. After opening its doors, a push for cultural transformation brought great waves of Western influence to this far eastern island nation. The revolution washed over the land, making life in the capital exciting and unsettling. It was a period of great change, and some was swept away by the tide. But for one man, the turbulence of that era was just the beginning of an extraordinary story.
Got some French. Okay, so it looks like the main character had the gun in his hand. And I couldn't remember very much about the faces of the other characters I saw. Someone looked like a butler ran in with somewhat a useful face, and someone was there with a little goatee. So I'll try to remember that. I still can't believe it. I still can't believe this is happening. How could it be that just beyond the doors of this quiet little chamber is the highest court in Japan waiting to decide my fate? I don't know how this necessarily works exactly, but in the United States, you would never just go to the highest court. The highest court doesn't decide if you're guilty or not guilty. The highest court decides if lower courts followed the correct court procedures when they tried you. And it seems that very rarely do these criminal cases actually make it to the highest court. They tend to be civil in general. What? Oh, no, nothing. Save your glares, murderer. Sorry. My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. This is a bit of a change from the original Ace Attorney, where it was just like kind of Western sounding names. This is not Western sounding at all. And seemingly very difficult to remember. But I'll say it again. Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Of course, the Japanese would say it the opposite. Naruhodo Ryunosuke. I presume. I presume for the English they switched the family name and given name orders. I'm a second-year student at the Imperial Yumei University. Or Yumei? 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 Is it a diphthong? I don't know. 3 days ago, I somehow found myself in the middle of a horrifying accident. And now, here I am, awaiting my trial. That's enough! He's not obliged to listen to your abuse, officer. And who are you? So I presume that this is the attorney? That is, this is probably the tutorial attorney that's going to give us hints to the tutorial case and might die in between this and the second one. Just a guess. I don't know what's going to happen, just a guess. This guy really looks like he's gonna die. But anyway, I'm this man's lawyer. I'll be defending him today. Lawyer? Yes, and until the judge has given his verdict on the case, no one has the right to treat him as a criminal. So you will hold your tongue. Technicalities. Look at you, you haven't even graduated yet. And yet I still seem to know better than you how a court officer should behave. Which is a meaningless statement considering that you have an agenda. Right, Ryunosuke? Oh, yes, of course, sorry. What are you apologizing to me for? Oh, well, no, I suppose that wasn't my fault. But really, Kazuma, I never meant to drag you into this. I'm sorry. There you go again, apologizing. Just like always. Though I must say, you've been all over the newspapers these past few days. Excuse me, I have to deal with something. I got a junk phone call. Anyway. Yumei University professor murdered in cold blood by student. But obviously, you didn't actually do it, did you? Of course not. You have to believe me. I didn't do it. I could never murder someone. Then there's nothing to worry about. Straighten yourself up. Hold your head high. You mean... I believe you. I know you're innocent, Ryonosuke. Kazuma Asogi, my best friend, also in his second year at Yume University. But he's far more clever than I, a star student in fact. He's even a qualified lawyer. Impressive considering I didn't have time to read that. It's not that impressive. The very concept of lawyers is only a few years old, here in Japan anyway. My qualifications don't mean much. Yet. You said exactly the same thing 3 days ago. But I'm proud to have a friend like you, Kazuma, truly. 3 days ago? Yes, that's when all this started. By the way, when I said at the beginning I'd seen the first few seconds of gameplay of this, I have not seen this at all. So, I don't know what this is. Maybe I haven't seen any gameplay. I don't know. Don't worry about that. I've literally only seen seconds, so... Whatever section I saw, it doesn't matter. Congratulations, Kazuma. It looks like you're going to get to study abroad at last. I know, I've been forever dreaming of this day. Finally, those government elites have acknowledged my academic achievements and successes in court. So you'll be representing Japan as you immerse yourself in the most sophisticated legal system in the world. I'm really happy for you, and proud as your friend. There's not a soul in the university who doesn't know Kazuma's name. He's a living legend. It's like there's some mysterious aura billowing around his temple. I want to bring about change in our own legal system. That's why I have to cross the ocean to see the real thing with my own eyes. The heart of the British Empire. I wish I could see it too. Then come with me. We'd have a wild time tearing up the streets of Her Majesty's City of London together. If only it were that simple. Oh dear, look at the time. I'd better be going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a while longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. Is that foreshadowing he dies right there? Just that little fade out there? It was straight after that. That's when it happened. Asogi, may I have a word? Professor, I didn't know you were coming. No, this case has personal significance to me. But never mind that for now. Oops. The first case has personal significance to a different professor than the one that was killed. Anyway, never mind that for now, Asogi, and that will be something mysterious that will not be revealed probably until the final case or something. You should go immediately to the judge's chambers. To His Excellency's chambers? Why? He was looking for you before. You're advocating for the defense in this trial was a sudden decision. It seems there may be some confusion about procedures today as a result. Who is this man? I feel as though I've seen him at university before. I see. I'll go at once then. I shall accompany you. Alright then, Ryunosuke. I'll see you in the courtroom. Yes. Thanks, Kazuma. Ellipses. This is awkward. If I may. Yes, sorry. You must be the defendant. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, I believe. Yes, that's right. My name is Eugene Mikotoba, a professor of forensic medicine at Yuma University. Ah, Professor Mikotoba. I've heard that name from Kazuma before. As I recall, he's been pushing to get the government to agree to Kazuma studying abroad. Asogi has told me about you. You and he are best friends, I understand. As such, I feel you should know... Know what? Well, as you've no doubt heard, Asogi has been granted permission to go and study in Great Britain. However, if he should fail to defend you in today's trial, I'm afraid that permission will be revoked, and never granted again. Because, just for the sake of tension and stuff, because Ace Attorney. What? I think you have bigger things to worry about. Because if he fails to defend you, you're probably going to be executed. Because that's what happens in the universe of Ace Attorney when you're convicted of murder and they fail to defend you. Or not convicted, you're accused of murder and you don't get, and the attorney defending you fails to defend you. You die. But apparently, that somehow invokes a reaction too. As I suspected, you were unaware of this. I have a feeling Asogi may have chosen not to tell you. He's agreed to defend me, knowing that if he fails, his dreams will be shattered. But I don't understand, why would the government do such a thing? The administration has to choose from a large number of applicants for overseas study. This is a really dumb explanation, because so it's better if he is shown to fail to defend somebody. It's better, like, complete unknowns are apparently better than someone who's demonstrated something in court, even if he doesn't reach a not guilty verdict. That's... It is very difficult to persuade them to grant permission even in the most favorable circumstances. I don't believe it. But I didn't do it, I swear it, I'm not a murderer. I'm sure that's true, nevertheless, you have to make a case for it, because you are guilty until proven innocent, because this is Ace Attorney. I can assure you that proving your innocence will be no easy task. You see, there are certain peculiarities about today's trial. Things are all corrupt and stuff, as usual. Sorry, what do you mean? You will soon understand, once proceedings get underway. But then what should I do? Well... Naturally, I'm not going to suggest doing anything that could lead to a conviction. Right, so... As soon as the trial starts, the judge will pose a certain question to the defense. When that happens, you must answer before anyone else. You must say, I do. I do? But what will that question be? Surely not. Do you accept the accusations brought before you? Of course not. So, do not accept the accusations brought before you. Do but something else you say I do. Okay, got that. Defendant! Court is about to begin. Proceed to the courtroom at once. Now, I don't know how to save in this. Oh, okay. But it's kind of lame in an Ace Attorney Let's Play if you save in the trial. You can, but it's lame, so I'm not going to do it. Okay. Oh, it would seem our surreptitious discussions are to be cut short. Surreptitious. That's so... I have no idea what that word means. I don't recognize any roots of that at all. Surreptitious. So allow me to summarize. Kazuma Asogi must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. Of course, as the defendant, the final decision is yours. So you are going to accept your own, you're going to defend yourself. I get it, okay. What are you waiting for? Do you want to be found guilty or for failing to appear? Get moving. There is no point in anyone advocating for the likes of you anyway. This is it. If this trial goes badly, Kazuma's dreams of studying abroad are over. And what's more, I'll be found guilty of murder. And so, I was now center justified. With absolutely no idea what lay ahead, I embarked on that unforgettable trial. My one and only chance of proving my innocence, the trial that would decide my destiny. All of a sudden, you became a lawyer. I guess to become a lawyer because he's the main character. Your typewriter is loud. So this is a courtroom. Supreme Court of the Judicature. No court in the land has more power. I don't much like the look of those people sitting in the public gallery. Lots of military and other uniforms in there. Powers that be have demanded that this be a secret trial. A secret trial? A trial that's closed to ordinary members of the public. Only military and government officials may attend. But why? Because corruption, obviously. It'll become clear in time, but for now... We need to concentrate, Ryonosuke. It's about to begin. Oh, it's pain. The court will now hear the trial of Ryonosuke Naruhodo. His name is Ouchie. Wow. Ouch in pain. The prosecution is ready. Oh, what's Payne's voice? The prosecution is ready, Your Excellency. And the defense. Before we begin, there is one point of order I would like to confirm. Yesterday evening, the defense made a last-minute request for a change of advocate. That is correct, Your Excellency. I made the request myself. Normal procedure is for the defendant's advocacy to be decided 2 days prior to trial. As this is an unusual circumstance, I can oblige to ask for final confirmation now. Who advocates for the defendant in this trial? Here we go. This is it. This must be the question. Wait, I don't interact with it. I don't decide that myself. The game decides it for me. That is lame. I give a suggestion to the game developers. You just give me the question, and I just answer it. Who's going to defend me? That's the question the professor meant. But then if I say I do, you have to defend yourself. I need to answer quickly. What should I do? Your Excellency, no confirmation is needed. As I am standing here beside the defendant, I hope it's clear who will advocate for his defense. What is the meaning of this unruly outburst? I would like to inform the court that I, Ryonosuke Naruhodo, will be defending myself. You'll be... What? What are you playing at, Ryonosuke? Professor Mikotoba told me everything just now before the trial. He did what? He said that your dreams of studying abroad would be dashed if you were to lose. That's not all. He said to specifically to defend yourself for probably some other reason as well. How sad. It means you don't have faith in me. You think I won't be able to get you off. No, it's not that really. It's just that, well, on the off chance that things don't go well for me, I couldn't bear to be the reason that you... Nice job making stuff up, Ryonosuke. I knew that's how you'd feel, which is exactly why I decided not to tell you. Professor Mikotoba shouldn't have stuck his nose in. Very well. The court hereby recognizes the defendant's desire to advocate for himself in today's trial. Well. Does the accused admit defeat already? Renouncing his own counsel? Really?
Objection!
Make no mistake, counsel. This merely shows that the defendant's innocence is so apparent he's confident he can speak for himself. Isn't that so, Naruhodo-san? Oh, yes, exactly. Exactly what I wasn't thinking. I'm not confident at all. In fact, my mind's a complete blank. Well, I got Phoenix Wright copycat sprites here. I realize you're in charge now, but still, try not to use that pose. Humph. Well, for a mere university student to be brought before the Supreme Court. You must have perpetrated a most heinous crime indeed. As you are no doubt aware, this is the Supreme Court of Judicature of Japan. Accordingly, the very highest standards of conduct are expected of all present. Do I make myself clear, Defendant Naruhodo? Yes, Your Excellency. It is therefore my duty to assess your competence for the task you have undertaken. My competence? What does he mean? He's questioning your ability to do the job. Well, he can't be questioning it more than I am. So, let's start with the very simplest of questions. Yes? Kindly state before the court the name of the victim in this case. Oh, this is just exposition. Well, that's easy enough. I've heard his name more times than I care to remember. But wait. I'm so nervous I can't even remember that. What was it again? Rinasuke. Let me guess, your mind's gone blank? You know me so well. All the relevant information for this case can be found in the court record. But I can't even find that. It's simple. You can access the court record with the press of E. If you find you've forgotten something, just consult that. It's all in there. I just have to press E for the court record? Alright, there's no time to lose. This is the list of evidence you've collected. Now try switching to people instead with E. You'll find details about the victim in here. When you're done, just press Z to go back. The victim in this case. He was visiting professor of medicine at Yume University from the British Empire. His name is John H. Wilson, age 47. Takesuchi Achi. Okay, I expect this person to be his name to be a pun. Because there's puns in these games, but like... Takasuchiachi. I don't get it. Huh. The lead prosecutor in this case would appear to have little love for the changes in cultural reformation. Oh. Little love for the changes the Cultural Reformation has brought about. A medical school professor at the Imperial Yume University. Is an authority in forensic medicine, and Kazume's mentor. Yujin Mikotoba. Okay. Kazuma Asogi, a second year at the Imperial Yume University. He is my best friend, and despite being a student, a qualified defense lawyer as well. So this is just John H. Wilson. Okay. The lack of name puns is disappointing. So remember, everything you do with the current case can be found in the court record. So here we go. University collar pin. Proof that I'm a student at the Imperial Yume University. I always wear it on the collar of my uniform jacket, so it's kind of like the lawyer's badge. Death occurred a little after 2 p.m. and was caused by loss of blood from a gunshot to the chest. The bullet did not pass through the victim's body, so it ended inside the body. That's going to matter. That's going to matter. Cool. Single bullet fired at close range. Fatal hemorrhage from pectoral ballistic trauma. No exit wound. Bullet did not pass through the body. And this thing... can't examine, apparently. Okay. Now you better not keep His Excellency waiting any longer. Go on. Find the victim in the People section of the court record and press R to present. Try it now.
Yes!
The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. Well, at least you can remember the name of an esteemed member of your own university. Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England, invited to UMA University 3 years ago. Indeed, which is the reason why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally. And as most of you will be aware, we have just signed a new treaty together after lengthy negotiations. There can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. And yet, despite these delicate circumstances, the blood of an Englishman has been spilt on our soil. The blood of an Englishman has been spilt on our soil. You two are both undergraduates at the Imperial Yume University, are you not? Murdering a professor from the very institution that provides your education. Have you no honor? But I didn't do it. This case is coming under great scrutiny from our allies on the other side of the world. The court therefore wishes for a speedy resolution to this matter. In other words, our feeble government is scared of upsetting England's policymakers. And you're a convenient and expendable scapegoat to blame for this crime. And that's why this trial has these unusual peculiarities, is it? Exactly, our government needs to convict someone as quickly as possible. All because the victim was an Englishman. Yes, Dr. Wilson was an Englishman. But nationalities and treaties won't make any difference to me here. The fact is, I was there at the scene of the crime. Oh dear, look at the time, I better get going. Alright, I'll see you later. I think I'll stay and enjoy this place a little longer. Good idea. After all, it's not every day you get to visit a high-class Western restaurant like this. See you in English class tomorrow then, partner. The British Empire. Well, it's incredible to think. They just want adventure. Going to Britain, apparently, isn't that special. Wait. I've seen that man at university. I'm sure he's a visiting professor from Great Britain. I don't know his name, but still, I should go and say hello. So I went over to the professor's table and introduced myself to Dr. Wilson. Now then, let me pose my next question to you, Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency. How did this professor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson, lose his life? State before the court the cause of death. The cause of death. Well, obviously that was, oh, tutorial. Okay.
Yes!
Well... According to this document, the victim suffered a hemorrhagic death due to gunshot trauma. To read, you imbecile. That's the post-mortem report, I take it. Sorry, yes, that's right, the post-mortem report. In the West, the doctor dissects corpses to identify the cause of death in an autopsy. But here in Japan, a police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way. So you won't have any outdated autopsy reports this time? Oh, I see. As long as I'm not going to be tested on any of this later. This is a so-called photographic print of the scene of the crime. As you can clearly discern, scorch marks around the bullet hole produced by the powder explosion. In other words, we should assume that the victim was shot at close range. Thank you, counsel. The court will accept this modern, scientific evidence into the record, even though it is not. The photographic print of the victim has been entered into the court record. So that's a photographic print. Well, that's something I've never seen before. It's clearly superior to a drawing. The detail is incredible. Very well, I am satisfied with your answers. Let us start the trial. Certainly, Your Excellency. So, without further ado, in order to better apprise the court with the facts of the case, the prosecution hereby calls its first witness, who was here at the scene of the crime when it happened. This is it then. I think I may have worked out what the professor had in mind. The professor? You mean Dr. Mikotoba? Yes, clearly you're the defense lawyer today, not me. But that doesn't mean... Well, I can still act as your assistant. Ah, of course. Well, he was speaking with me before. He simply said, when he was speaking with me before, he simply said, Kazuma Asoga must not be the defense lawyer in this trial. He really has been sticking his oar in, hasn't he? Maybe, but any help you can give me would be greatly appreciated, Kazuma. Well, my first piece of advice is rein in that crazy look of bewilderment and control the cold sweats. Well, unfortunately, due to the art style and the entertainment sort of value of this, that will not happen. But, I mean, good. I appreciate the sentiment, Kazuma. Only if you rein in that crazy headband and controlled the cold stares first. Yep, this guy was in the cutscene, but he ran in afterwards, so it seems unlikely that it would be him. But the first trial is always really short, so there is a high probability that the first witness is the actual perpetrator. Witness, state your name and occupation for the court, please. Of course, my name is Satoru Hosonaga. I am the head waiter at a Western-style restaurant called La Carnival. Ahem. I've come down with... I can't spoil anything, so... You know... He has an 85% chance of death. Are you alright? You seem to be coughing up summer. It's a regular occurrence. It really doesn't bother me. Well, it really, really should. As everyone knows, the capital's southeastern quarter was developed for foreign visitors some years ago. It's become a very fashionable district now, full of hotels to accommodate overseas guests. This grim scene occurred in one of the district's so-called restaurants and Occidental Eatery 3 days ago. Understood. Osunaga-san, you will kindly tell the court everything you can about the incident. At once, sir. And no petty interjections from the aspiring lawyer boy, please. Oh, perspiring maybe, but aspiring? It was just after 2 p.m. on the day in question. We have few dinners at the time. We have few dinners at that time of day. Okay, that appears to be the right time. The lunchtime rush was over, and there were only 3 tables still occupied. Okay, nothing weird there. There's an exact number, though. That fits with my memory of it, too. There was hardly anyone else in the place. Ahem. It was when I was in the kitchen putting away crockery and cutlery. A gunshot rang out, and I hurried out to the dining area to see what had happened. The coughing up blood's going to be super relevant, so we're going to have to figure out how that fits in. I found the victim, an English gentleman, slumped in his chair. And standing immediately beside him, gun in hand, was the accused university student. Yes! Hold on, let me just clarify something here. While I did pick up a gun that I found lying on the floor beside the professor, I didn't shoot him. Objection! I believe I asked you to refrain from petty interjections. The court wishes to listen to the victim's report of what he saw, you amateur. But... the next time you interrupt at an inappropriate time, you will be penalized, defended Naruhodo. Don't worry, Ryonosuke. You'll have your chance to fight back. For now, we must quietly listen to the witness. If I may confirm one point, waiter. Standing beside the victim with a gun in his hand was the same man we see here in court today? Yes, without question. I see. And apart from the accusal, was there anyone else standing beside the victim? And this is gonna be wrong, there was somebody. No. There was no one else around that table but the deceased Englishman and the university student. That's gonna be wrong. Huh? Wait, what did you just say? There was no one else around that table. What's the matter, Ryonosuke? That's just not right. When I went over to Dr. Wilson to say hello, there was a woman sitting opposite him at his table. Really? And that's not something the waiter could have missed. I've been worried about interjecting, but still, what should I do? Don't. Because you're gonna have like a... I desperately want to say something, but I was told not to interject. Ryonosuke, if your parents tell you to study, you're the kind of man who would diligently get to work, aren't you? I suppose I am. I never have got into Yume University. I'd never have got into Yume University otherwise. But you can't just always follow the rules in life, you know? If you don't say what you want to say right now, you'll seriously regret it when you're found guilty. Alright, you've scared me. I won't forget that piece of advice in a hurry. And there is something I want to say. I'm just going to shut my eyes and say it. Just a moment, please. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone that day. I'm sure of it. There was a lady sitting with him at the same table.
Attention!
Dear me, what are we going to do with you? With your blatant disregard for court proceedings, I'm beginning to wonder if you're a fraud. Could it be that the accused, this mere student, is not a real lawyer after all? But I'm sure of what I saw. Osanaga-san, is there any chance you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of events is hazy? No. The deceased gentleman came to dine alone. I don't believe it. I actually have a rough plan of the restaurant as it was that day. Please have a look if you'd like to. Let me see. Ah, a sketch of the establishment's layout drawn by yourself, I presume. That's right. I'm afraid I used the back of my business card. It was a turbulent situation. I can't read those kanji. Actually, this one right here, I believe, means entrance. So, I can only read one of these four. And this one might be a mouth, stylized mouth, so this might be entrance mouth, or entrance way. However, as you can see, the gentleman in question was seated alone. Well, you're clearly a very conscientious waiter. Thank you, sir. The court will take this plan and add to the court record as evidence. Oh, well, is there a problem? Hand the plan to the court officer at once. Of course. Here you are. What was that about? He was completely calm and collected until now. I suspect that because it was written on the back of his business card, there's something on his biggest business card that he doesn't want people to see. That's my guess. Something certainly seems to have shaken him. The waiter's business card has been entered into the court record. So, can't get into the court record? Great. Oh, here we go. Okay. Don't see anything of note here, honestly. Let's look at the back of it. Oh, okay. That is entrance. That means kitchen, apparently. Well, I can't flip it over, unfortunately. Right? I can only magnifying glass it. Phooey. Okay. So, the court has now heard a precise of the case. You and your language. Yes, at the moment the gunshot was heard in the restaurant, the only person in close proximity to the victim was the defendant on trial today. It would seem we are looking at a black and white case here. Defendant Naruhodo. Yes, Your Excellency. If you admit your guilt at this stage, the court is willing to look mercifully upon you. In other words, you may have some small reprieve in terms of your inevitable punishment. I called this waiter as an unsworn witness, in order to explain the details of the case to the court. But I must warn the defense if you are determined to pursue matters further in this trial. The prosecution has decisive evidence from sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime. How could they be present if this witness says there was no one present? What do you think I should do, Kazuma? What do you mean? Well, I'm going to be found guilty one way or another, it seems. Wouldn't it be sensible to plead guilty at this stage and hope for a more lenient sentence? No, do not take the plea bargain. You are playing Ace Attorney, Ryonosuke. You have no choice. The plot will force you to go a certain route here. Everyone keeps telling me that this trial is unusual, about these peculiarities. You said it, Professor Mikotoba said it, and so has the judge and the prosecution. I'm scared of what lies ahead if I push this. As I said from the outset, I believe you're innocent, I trust you. And yet, despite knowing that, you're willing now to throw that trust back in my face? Is that it? What? If the accused is in fact innocent, then a defense lawyer is duty-bound to prove that innocence by whatever means necessary. Are you just going to abandon that duty? Are you going to give up on yourself? The battle hasn't even begun yet, Ryonosuke. The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witness. Then we will know just how decisive this evidence really is. Indeed. Prosecutor Ouchie, please continue with proceedings. Well, you were warned. The young can be so reckless. You know, many call me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be. And a few short moments from now, the dumbstruck young mouths of yours will be silenced forever. The prosecution calls its next witness. Very well, officer. Bring forth the witnesses at once. Witnesses, kindly state your names and occupations for the court. Yes, sir. The great Nippon Imperial Army Sergeant Iesa Nosa, reporting for duty, sir. Myself, I find employ as a purveyor of fine articles of antiquity from the efflorescence of our nation, Nippon, and conduct my trade from Not Rasute, a humble premises in the 2nd District. Ryusori Koriyukuta at your service. These people are completely irrelevant to the case. An antiquity dealer and a soldier? What an unusual pairing. Both of these gentlemen were present at the restaurant on the day in question. They must be the diners at the other table that the waiter mentioned. Myself, I habitually take tea to the most exquisite aroma to the establishment in question, always post-noon. And not infrequently converse with interested parties regarding the curious with which I make my business. I can't understand a word that old man is saying. He's an antique dealer, and it sounds like he's a regular at La Carnival. He seeks out potential customers who may have an interest in antiques and tries to sell his wares to them. He obviously targets La Carnival because it's a high-class restaurant with rich clientele. Right, I see. Although, to be honest, that sergeant looks more like he'd be a seller rather than a buyer. Now, you both witnessed the precise moment of this most atrocious incident. Is that correct? Affirmative. The enemy unit was seen attacking the foreigner in what can only be described as an act of war, sir. It was that black uniformed rogue infantryman over there who unloaded his firearm, sir. This man is as impossible to understand as the other. But I'm almost sure I heard a strange noise during that last thing he said. So this is the decisive evidence the prosecution was threatening. Soldier is claiming that he actually saw the precise moment you shot the victim dead. Yes. Well, are you starting to feel uncomfortable? If I'm honest, I was feeling uncomfortable from the start. Now, the court will hear your formal testimony, please. You will state everything you saw at the precise moment that the incident occurred. Sir, yes, sir. Standing by ready to report, sir. Well, there's a baby with him. I wonder how that's gonna play out. Unsavory memories of a most acerbic afternoon. The witnesses saw. I am investigating a regulation beefsteak at the restaurant while having... Wow. I was ingesting a regulation beefsteak. Is regulation? At the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man. Myself, I was extolling the virtues of a particularly fine golden curio to the military gentleman. At that precise moment, a firearm was discharged. I observed the enemy's actions with my own eyes. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian, and from the back, the cowardly little weasel... And from the back, what... I was on my hands and knees investigating the whereabouts of my mysterious, absconded precious curio. Well, so you, Sergeant Nosa, actually witnessed the vital moment. You saw the split second when the defendant fired the weapon at the victim. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. That wicked university cadet, sir. The cruel and unforgivable enemy. Times we live in, when an English gentleman may be assailed in the broad light of day. But this is ridiculous. I didn't shoot anyone. Is that really true, Ryanosuke? Yes, all I did was pick up the gun that I saw lying on the floor. Moral of the story, do not pick up the gun! So cliche. After I'd said hello to Dr. Wilson, I went back to my table and sat drinking some coffee. Then, when I had finished, I got up from my seat to leave the restaurant. When I noticed an English-made gun next to the chair where the professor was sitting. I thought perhaps the professor had dropped it. So I bent down, and just as I was picking it up... Well, if that's the truth, there's obviously a criminal on the scene somewhere. And somewhere in these two witnesses' testimonies, there's a clue as to who that criminal was. There is. Ryanosuke, you must exercise your right to cross-examine the witnesses. Cross-examine? Do it now! As we have heard, Your Excellency, there is no room for doubt in the testimony of these witnesses. The defendant is clearly guilty. It is time to bring this despicable student to justice. Certainly, the testimony the court has just heard eliminates any vestige of doubt. Therefore, it is my grave duty to declare the verdict of this... What in the name of the Emperor is the meaning of this outburst? The defense demands the right to cross-examination. Dear me, dear me. Let me guess, the Hachimaki headband boy next door told me to do it. How pathetic. Huh? How did he know? Prosecution objects. This is a clear waste of time. The defendant obviously has no experience. How can he possibly carry out a cross-examination?
Objection!
The defense is asserting its right to a cross-examination. Whether or not you think he's capable of it is irrelevant. Zuma is so commanding. Very well. Let the defense conduct a cross-examination of the witnesses. Alright, this is where the battle really begins, Ryonosuke. But I don't even know what I have to do in a cross-examination. Isn't it obvious? You have to expose the lies in the witness's statement. How? You didn't fire the gun, which means that soldier said has to be a lie. Well, yes, but it's just a case of providing it, and the key to doing it is evidence. Right, evidence. All you need to do is present some decisive and indisputable evidence that proves the witness is lying. Now let's go, Ryonosuke. Don't let them beat you. Alright then. It's all or nothing. Health bar? And the witnesses saw. Yay, health bar. Okay, we have 5 lives. I was investigating a regulation beefsteak at the restaurant while having a tactical discussion with the old man. Oh, we have press. Okay. Well, first we're going to look at what I have here. He is a university student. That's usually not useful. 2 p.m. and was caused by loss of blood from a gunshot to the chest. The bullet did not pass through the victim's body. Shot from the front in the chest and subsequently died. Okay, I'm pretty sure he's going to say we shot him in the back. We're just going to say we shot him in the front. Well, so we have press. We do have the press mechanic, but I don't want to use the press. Okay, here's the thing about the press. If you don't use the press, you miss out on some dialogue that might be entertaining. But if you could present without using the press, it seems like it's a greater achievement for me to do. So, myself, I was extolling the virtues of a whatever. The black uniformed varsity student fired on the English civilian, and from the back, and the cowardly little weasel. Okay. We're gonna show that shows us that it says he was shot from the front.
Yes!
Well, what are you playing at, cadet? What is the meaning of this subordination? Oops. Thrusting some photographic print at my mustache. Inconsistency, sir. I mean, yes. There's a clear inconsistency here. What nonsense. What can this print possibly tell us that we don't already know? Well, obviously, that, I know what I want to say, but the words just won't come out of my mouth. I think this proves beyond any doubt, Your Excellency, that there is no place for an amateur student here in the Grand Courtroom. This is so frustrating. Oh, please. Surely this doesn't require an explanation. It couldn't be more plain. To spell it out would be an insult to the court. Kazuma, what? What are you talking about? It's apparent from a single glance at the photographic print presented by the defense. There is a clear discrepancy here with the sergeant's statement. What? Sergeant Nosa. Yes, sir? What, sir? The statement you just made was this. The black uniformed varsity cadet fired on the English civilian and from the back, the cowardly little weasel. Yes, sir. Affirmative, sir. I witnessed the crime with my own military-grade eyes, sir.
Yes!
But no, that just can't be. And why not, cadet? Because... Take a close look at the print. The victim, Dr. Wilson, died from a bullet wound to the chest. Ah. Sergeant, according to your witness statement, the culprit shot the victim from behind. And that is the obvious discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain it? Is that... Something just popped up from behind his back, but he pushed it down again. Certainly, there is a clear discrepancy with the facts here. Would you not agree, Sergeant Nosa? Yes, sir. At this juncture, that would appear to be indisputable. So I would guess at this point that the baby did it? Until the moment I heard the firearm discharge, my eyes were firmly fixed on the delicious La Carnival steak, sir. What? The last testimony the court heard has proven one thing beyond all reasonable doubt. This witness, Sergeant Esanosa, did not see the defendant firing a gun at all. That's absurd. Well, it was kind of obvious from the statement. I think the conclusion we must draw is simple. At first, that is. There is no place for an amateur prosecutor here in this grand courtroom. There's been a complete turnabout in the mood of this trial just from that one discrepancy. So this is what being an ace attorney is all about. Title drop! But I definitely saw him. The university cadet there. He was pointing the firearm directly at the victim's back.
Yes!
But I never fired the gun. All I did was pick it up from the floor. And you, old man, you didn't see the moment the victim was shot either? Myself, I have already been quite clear. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for treasure. Treasure? Indeed, the Hoa Harrow Coben, my prized coin. On each occasion when I visit that restaurant, it is my habit to place on my bosom pocket a particular trinket of interest from my shop, Razute, in the hope of meeting a rich diner who might like to buy it from you. On the day under scrutiny, It was the military man that I proffered my horror treasure. I believed that he would have purchased such a rare find. I did not. But I was presented with a little alternative. Oh. And then, after averting my eyes for the briefest moments, it was there no more. It simply vanished. The Copen vanished? Hunting around under the table, I was in case mayhap it had fallen there, and then it happened. You heard the gunshot, you mean? Indeed I did, but I heeded it not, for I was concerned only with finding my absconded horror treasure. Nothing could distract me. Out of interest, did you find the coin in the end? No. I see. That lamentable day, the precious white Coben was lost to me. No doubt some unscrupulous scoundrel pocketed the prize coin for himself. Yeah, we can see that. As I am sure everyone present is aware, this case demands a swift and decisive resolution. Our government has promised to send a full report to Great Britain by telegraph this very afternoon. Nevertheless, the witness testimony the court has just heard was inconclusive. No matter how subservient our government feels it must be to the British, it would be unforgivable to deliver a verdict on this trial right now. What is your position, Prosecutor Achi? Worry not, Your Excellency. The defendant may have fled a tiger at the front gate, but he will find a wolf at the back. Eyewitnesses have further testimony to make. Explain. Upon hearing their next statements, it will become abundantly clear that there is only one person who could possibly have committed this despicable crime. The equally despicable defendant Ranosuke Naruhodo. What? He really seems to have a despicable opinion of you, doesn't he? Very well, the court invites the witnesses to testify again. You will thoroughly explain the reasoning behind the prosecutor's allegation. Is that clear? As clear as clear glass, Your Excellency. Yes, sir. At once, sir. Awaiting signal to testify, sir. Excuse me, but there's something or someone peeking out over your shoulder, I think. Affirmative. The newest member of the Nosa family to rise up through the ranks, sir. Name Ido. It would seem those straps are a sign of the sergeant being too strapped to afford a nanny. Ido Tinshin. Okay, so the sergeant obviously stole the coin. See how that plays into things. Your father is about to quell the enemy. Watch and learn, my boy. The true culprit. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. Yes, pointing the gun at the foreign man, he was, that young lad in black. That much I myself did see. Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself. Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman. Over and out. These testimonies are certainly compelling. Wait, that's nonsense. The victim, Dr. Wilson, wasn't alone at all. Please, enough of these outbursts already. But there was a young woman at his table. You must have seen her. You must have seen her. Everyone there must have seen her. If you can call yourself a lawyer, then you will respect the rules of the court and speak accordingly. We are not here to listen to your fantasies. It is evident beyond all reasonable doubt that the victim was alone at the time of the incident. The prosecution has photographic evidence of this fact. Is this a photograph print of the scene of the crime, counsel? Oh, well, this shows a lot here. Indeed, of the table at which the victim was dining, taken by an investigator immediately after the incident. By what I mean by that is, part of the steak got eaten. It can be plainly be seen there's only one place set. Certainly, based on the appearance of this print, it would be reasonable to conclude that the victim was not in the company of anyone else. Well, they didn't necessarily have to be eating. This doesn't make any sense. The court will add this new photographic evidence to the record. The photographic print of the crime scene has been entered in the court record. I don't understand. What's going on here? It's just not possible that nobody else saw that woman. The waiter before said the same thing. He maintains that Dr. Wilson came to the restaurant alone as well. But that's not true. I saw her. I swear that I saw a woman with him. It would seem that we'll be able to telegraph the report to Great Britain on time after all. The witness testimony we have just heard leave no further room for doubt. There are very sensitive political times, as you all know. The ink is still fresh on the treaty with Great Britain. To think that I, Takatsuchi Achi, will have contributed to the enmity of these two great empires is an honor. It's kind of early to bring out this pose. How can this be happening? The judge is ready to rule. Stand tall, Ryunosuke. It's not over yet. What? If what you say is true, then there's something going on here behind the scenes. And now is your chance to expose it, to draw out the truth, in your cross-examination. I don't know, Kazuma. The defense is entitled to examine the witness. Make it quick, understood? Rules can be so unbending at times. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment of the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man he was, that young lad in black. That much I myself did see. Furthermore, a visual search of the premise at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. Indeed, alone he was, the Englishman, dining all by himself. Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman over and out. What do you think, Ryunosuke? Oh. What's the matter? I can't find anything. I can't find a clear discrepancy anywhere. This is going to tell you about the press mechanic, isn't it? We're done for. No. No. Listen, the first thing to do is calm down. You can expect witnesses' statements to be full of holes every time. You can't. So just take your time and try to tease more information out of them first. What do you mean? You can choose to either press or present against each of the witness statements. If a witness is saying something you're suspicious about, press them with Q. With a little luck, you may get more details, which could prove to be crucial. Right, I see. The important point is, there is no sense in holding back. If anything even slightly jars with you, press the witness on it and press them hard. Alright, got it. I'll press them like blocks of tofu. The professor wasn't alone in the restaurant, I'm sure of it. And one way or another, this cross-examination is going to prove I'm right. It's time to press them. Okay. Tutorial. This is what I want to press.
Yes!
So you actually saw that with your own eyes, did you? The victim, Dr. Wilson, dining alone. That I did. Forgive me for the position I place you in. So the testimony of the old man, the soldier, and the waiter all agree on that point. Isn't that interesting? And let us not forget the incontestable evidence we have to support their statements as well. The thing is, I have to present two pictures. I'm trying to figure out how to do that. As you can clearly be seeing, there is only a single beefsteak on the victim's table, a meal for one. No. The antiques dealer, the sergeant, and the waiter who testified before. It's not impossible that they're all lying. But if so, then why? If I'm perfectly honest, I have absolutely no idea. Therefore, no one other than the black uniformed cadet could have dispatched the Englishman over and out. Okay. Oh, come on, get through this. Hopefully there'll be less tutorial on them. Okay, this one's not really interesting. Okay.
Yes!
Yes, it may be true that I was holding the gun at that point in time. But I've told you already that it's only because I picked it off the floor. Well, obviously, as the culprit, that's the only way you could explain it away. I had just finished drinking my coffee and was able to leave the restaurant when I noticed a gun on the floor at Dr. Wilson's feet, so I picked it up. And at exactly that moment, a gunshot rang in my ears. Full of events beyond our control, life is. Sorry, what do you mean? In your case, you found a pistol on the floor and picked it up, which precipitated this testing predicament. Whereas, conversely, I failed to pick up the Coben from the floor and find myself in an equally testing predicament as a result. Anyway, the fact remains, myself, I did see you, with pistol in hand, standing over the foreigner. Okay.
Yes!
Already pressed this. I'm so just an idiot. So way to go make this go faster. Okay, this is interesting because
Yes!
Why aren't you telling the truth? What would you say, Cadet? I clearly remember. Someone sitting across the table from the professor. Perhaps one of you might not have noticed. But for both of you to have failed to see the professor's dining companion, it's just not possible. Fortunately for you, Defendant Naruhodo, it's not just a case of these two witnesses alone. Sorry? The waiter, whose testimony the court heard earlier, clearly stated the same thing. He also said that the victim was alone. That's right. Precisely. In other words, you are the sole proponent of this phantom lady. But if such a woman were indeed present at the scene, the prosecution demands to see proof. And if no such proof exists, the prosecution demands no further mention of this phantom woman be made. It's a blatant waste of the court's time. There's nothing I can say to that. Ha 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 ha. What do you think, Renosuke? Oh. What's the matter? I can't find anything. I can't find a clear discrepancy anywhere. I'm done for. Can't win this trial. No, stupidness. Padding out the runtime. This is so unnecessary. Guess I'll just press everything. Gee. Come on. Press this because it's there to press. No, it's not the same thing at all. For a start, I didn't fire that gun. We have a difference of opinion on that. The opinion of an uninformed officer versus that of a fledgling cadet. I don't think so. Consider this, defendant. Just a moment ago, I blinked. Did you? Did you see it? Did you see me blink? How could I? And yet, it is an undeniable fact that I did blink. So there you have it. What? Teen Shun. The sound of the firearm rang in my ears, and the very next moment, I saw you waving the gun at the Englishman. I think that says it all, don't you? Grr. And let us not forget that the antiques dealer witnessed the accused in this most incriminating position as well. Isn't that so, Tuka-san? Okay, I already pressed this one. Yes. Is this gonna give me a route to presenting the eaten steak? You must have noticed something else, Dr. Wilson. There's clearly a lady there. As you have been in pains point out time and time again, I feel I'm growing callous in my ears. And yet, no one else appears to have caught even a glimpse of this woman. Arg. If only there'd be more people dining there at the time, someone would have noticed her. Fortunately, it was already past 2 p.m. when it happened. The quiet time between lunch and dinner at any restaurant. I know, of course the place was almost empty. It's what you'd expect. Certainly, 2 p.m. is neither here nor there in terms of time to eat. I wonder if there was a reason why the victim was eating at that time of day, and why he was alone. Yes, Your Excellency, there was indeed a reason. There was? This was found in the victim's jacket pocket. What is that, Counsel? What is that, Counsel? It is a medical report card, Your Excellency. It would seem that the victim had an appointment at a clinic prior to visiting the restaurant. Huh. At a clinic, yes. That would indeed appear to be an entry for the date in question. 19th of November, noon to 1 p.m. The very day of the incident. So the victim went to a late lunch following his appointment. The explanation couldn't be more simple. The prosecution felt no need to submit this evidence before, as it really has no bearing on the case. So I guess that the Hottie Clinic is something from mainline Ace Attorney. Anyway, it's supposed to be a reference, I guess. Well, it's hard to see how it could be related, really. Remember, you can request for it to be entered into the court record as evidence if you think it would be useful. Should I ask for Dr. Wilson's? Yes, you should. Yes. Yes. There's no reason not to ever not to do that. If I may, I'd like to ask for that medical record card to be submitted as evidence, Your Excellency. On what grounds? The court has already heard conclusive witness testimony, and additional evidence would be extraneous. Not to mention that the victim's movements prior to this arrival at the restaurant are of no concern. Objection. Whether or not they are of concern is up to us to decide. We have a right to explore possible avenues. I beg your pardon? You have no authority to refuse a perfectly valid request for the submission of evidence. Very well. The court will grant the defense's request. Youngsters these days are forever asserting their rights. It's a most disturbing trend. Officer, kindly add the victim's medical report card to the court record. Okay. All we need right now is new clues. We have to explore things from every possible angle, even if they don't seem relevant at first. Right, I hear you. You can conspire to prolong this trial as much as you like, but it's the day after the festival already for you. Or perhaps you'd forgotten that these witness testimonies leave no room for doubt. Feel free to reiterate for the accused, Korakuta-san. Okay, so what's in here? Medical report card from the Hata clinic that was found in the victim's pocket. I can't examine it, huh? That's annoying. Yeah, I can't examine it, huh? Okay, this doesn't have an examine. Okay. I am going to save here and pick up from here in the next one. It's like, don't turn off your PC. Gee whiz. And that's it.